Okay, 3, 2.
Hey guys, I'm Scott Slade Holmbeck and you're watching USAirsoft, and today we're at Damian The Gunsmith's little shop here in San Antonio, Texas to take a look at some rather rare pieces, including this KSC HK33. We also have the long variant, which I don't believe there's many videos of, right there on that table in the back. So let's go ahead and take this and take a look at the larger HK33 a little bit closer.
Alright, so now we have both the HK33 and the shorter HK33k on the table, with the only 80 round magazine we have sitting pretty. Now, picking up the smaller and more stable 33k, I can instantly feel the weight of this piece, which is about 7 pounds. The medcap magazine is also wrapped in metal, but is surprisingly as light as a polymer magazine. This magazine has quite a bit of a story to tell on the outside, as you can see. This is not a brand new mag, and both the guns and the magazine have been here in Damian's collection for quite a while now. And now I guess I should state that both these rare pieces are not for sale. Both these KSC HKs feature a polymer lower, metal upper, metal barrel, front sight post, and a 33k bears a plastic orange tip. The rear sight is the basic HK sight with 3 peephole apertures and the more open close quarter sight. This sight is a bit tough to turn due to its age, but it does still click into place firmly. Next up, after looking down the length of this pretty rifle, I'll show you the rather unconventional hidden hop-up dial. To get to this dial, this single pin must be pushed out, which is easy to do by hand even after all this age. After this is done, the entire handguard can be pushed forward and removed from the body, which will reveal the plastic dial. This dial clicks with each position it's moved from, but I'm not very sure if the hop-up is very effective. But if you'd like to see a shooting test of this rifle, I'll add a link to Concept's video over the KSC HK33, as I can't fire either of these rifles. So go ahead and check out that video if you'd like more information. Now moving on to the controls, we have a single large metal fire selector which seems to slide around a bit too easily on this rifle. But one thing that is quite neat is, unlike a lot of airsoft replicas of today, when you switch the fire selector on the left side, you can actually see what mode the rifle is set to on the right. I find this neat only for the fact that so many M4s nowadays have this indicator for this feature, but they don't seem to move at all. Next up, we have the magazine releases, one being much like an M4 and the other more like an AK. Both these releases work well and the magazine sits in place perfectly with no wobble. I did find the magazine a little bit tough to put in at times, but that could be due to age. Now, although this HK is not cluttered with trademarks throughout the body, one can be found on the left side of the magwell stating the real rifle's caliber. When it comes to the stock, I'd like to start with the retractable arms. These are made out of metal, however I'd say that they aren't the best of quality. They seem thin, and this is just a bit evident by how they have frayed out from the body. To release the stock from the closed position, we can see this common HK switch that can release the arms to 2 lengths. I prefer the stock to be completely extended, however I prefer the full stock variant more. That's not to say that the stock isn't comfortable, as the butt plate is metal with a rubberized textured pad on the outside. Now when it comes to the battery storage, we need to remove this one pin which has been replaced by this nut and screw. After this has been removed, you can pull the stock away from the body. Next, you'll need to pull this plastic cap away, which would simply hang down after being pulled off, as these connection wires would run through it. However, things change after a few years of owning the same rifle. Good news, however, the connections are fit for small type Tamiya, and you could fit a 9.6 just fine, but I'd recommend running something like an 8.4 instead. As I can show in dirty graphic detail, this 9.6 stick fits perfectly with room to spare. Now I can already hear a lot of people saying, those aren't KSCs, they're Classic Army, or ANK, or whatever, but clones are clones, and in Airsoft, companies love rebranding. I'm not going to defend it, seeing as I kinda don't care to say, welcome to the KSC Classic Army ANK G33k review. So let's just say every name in this video to really strip people's pistons. Moving along, however, I can show you something that makes this Classic Army AEG a bit different from today's guns. If you're not feeling like running a battery, or you simply get unlucky and face enemies coming in close but your battery is dead, you can go ahead and flip this switch in front of the trigger, charge the piston by pulling the charging handle back, and use the rifle like a Springer, but still retain the same FPS. Now how's that for different? And yes, you can do the famous HK slap, but I'm not going to risk breaking this by doing so like how the full-length G33 in the background is. Now pushing the 33k off to the side for a moment, we can go ahead and take a closer look at that ANK HK33, which is also classified as a 33S. Now I'm going to guess that this came with a bipod as some pictures show, but I'm going to guess that this was lost over the years. Now when I said that the 33K was more stable and that this one was broken, I was referring to how the entire front assembly of this rifle can fall away from the rest of the body due to broken and lost retaining pins and their bases. This makes the front portion of this rifle droop, so I'm going to be very gentle with this rifle as to not add to the issues that this rifle already has. Now since this rifle is essentially the same rifle as the 33K but larger, all the controls are the same, including the magazine releases, sights, pop-up location, and charging handle / piston charger. However, one thing that is different besides the barrel length would be the full slightly thin plastic stock and the battery storage location. By pushing down the end of the stock, you'll find yourself small type connections and space for a 9.6 brick type battery. But again, I'd recommend the lower 8.4 volt as older guns like these were meant for them. One more point I'd like to make about the stock would be unless this is weakened over the years, I wouldn't trust the back sling point as this roughly 7-pound rifle may come undone from its base into stock. But the swiveling sling point up front is more reliable, and of course it's made of metal. Now with that, I'd say that we're just about done here. Now there's much more to say about this rifle internally, like how it fires a bit backwards and how trigger pulls are just about instant to when the rifle fires. But I'm just getting that info from other videos I've seen about this HK and its clones. It's a bit of a design that I'm surprised didn't stick or get introduced to more guns, but I presume that retooling and changing production styles of entire companies had this idea thrown out a bit quickly. I don't have any proof of that, but that's one idea that makes sense. But I thank you for watching this video over these rare pieces, but if you have anything to say about these rifles, be sure to leave a comment down below or hit that like button just to show that you like this video. Also check out these video reviews by Jarek and Concept if you need any more information or if you're just curious about how these actually fire. I'll also add links to these videos in the description if that helps out a little bit more. But until the next video drops, I'll be sure, like always, to see you all next time.